depending on what people are doing. You know, James came up big and did a great job on a couple of double move routes, and I was excited for him because he had a great camp, and we expected for him to be playing like that. Excuse me. Pardon me?
Have you ever seen any James's drawings? He says he draws sketches.
No, I haven't. But if they're football plays, they probably involve receivers, would be my guess. Roy Williams was always sketching too, but it always ended up the ball came back to him. So.
Coach, is it hard to call plays on almost 10-minute drive?
Well, this is 38 years for me. That's the first time I've been involved in a 22-play drive. Yeah, I didn't even realize it. In fact, I didn't realize it till the press conference after the game. I knew it was a long drive, but I didn't realize it had been that long until I was asked after the game. Excuse me.
How much did you want to just pound the ball in the end zone after because you kind of run it, I think, 4 or 5 times to get down to the 1, and you just had 2 more plays there. Did you want to do that?
Yeah, we ran a little full tailback wedge with Cody a couple times, and we got it down in there tight, and then everything was extremely tight, and there was a part obviously that wanted to go in and run, power the ball in, but I felt like that the play we called was there, and the kids did a good job of executing it.
Coach Brown used the term inconsistent for offense. Do that, get more consistent.
Well, when I wish I knew a short, succinct answer to give you, but when you look at the tape, you see the first quarter is probably as good as we played in a while. We were on schedule. We had way too many penalties. You got to eliminate some of those. We had 3 holding penalties in the game, and we were able to overcome 2 of those penalties. And then we had some not missed assignments, but we had some situation where guys didn't quite get their heads where, those are the thing. The execution is the thing that leads to consistency. And when we showed the film to the offense yesterday, I picked out 22 plays to start the meeting, and about half of them, you had 11 guys all working together, and obviously the result was positive. And then the other half, you had 9 or 10 guys doing the right thing, and one guy not holding up his end of the bargain, and consequently you're inconsistent. And so we just got to keep working and keep trying to execute better.
When I went back and watched the game, the term butterfingers was used for the receivers. Do y'all ever use some of that to kind of show your guys to maybe make them aware of?
Well, we use terms to make them aware.
But do you ever show them the actual broadcast?
No, we never do that. We never do that as in a team setting. I know a lot of the guys, tape the game and come home and watch it as a bunch of our fans do. But we never use the video broadcast from the ball game.
So what can you do when you have, Garrett obviously needs those receivers to
Yeah.
be consistent, and it's not.
Yeah, it's just it's typically concentration. It's eyes leaving the ball right before they get there. They're looking to run right before the ball gets there. In many cases, they're real good throws, and those are the ones where if a ball is not where it's supposed to be, then the focus goes totally to the ball. A lot of times when the ball is exactly where it's supposed to be, then the focus goes downfield to see, where's the pursuit coming, and you just got to look the ball in. And, the way you do it is just keep working on it.
Coach, maybe along the same lines with the inconsistency, would you look at the offensive line on film, kind of break it down a little bit for us? When you see something go wrong, Coach Brown talked a little bit about 4 guys play well, 1 guy
Yeah.
Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, there were a bunch of situations, in the ball game where, 4 of the 5 really did a heck of a job, and you leave the game frustrated, and then you go watch the film and you understand a little more. It doesn't remove the frustration that we all have about being inconsistent, but at least you understand it a little bit more. And then everybody gets a shot. I mean, it's not, it's not just one guy. Everybody gets a shot. There were, 3 or 4, 5 situations where, 4 of the 5, or really 5 of the 6, because the tight ends involved in that, really did nice jobs, and one guy created a problem.
But Coach, isn't that somewhat just investing in your personnel? I mean, those guys they haven't been out there 10 million years playing,
Well, in some cases, yes, there is, and where guys are, playing for the first time, extended amount of time. Part of it's that, and part of it obviously is coaching. That we've got to do a better job of making sure we put them in situations and all the various scenarios that can come up with each play.
Coach, your counterpart, Norm Chow, been calling plays, I don't know, it's 38 years like you mentioned for yourself, but a long time. And it sounds like UCLA is kind of reinventing themselves, physical offenses. How unusual is that? Is that,
Well, I think coaching is all about trying to adjust to what you have. Will came in this morning and asked me a couple of questions about what they were doing, and I said, I thought Norm was there. And he said, Norm is there. I'm sure what he's doing, he's an outstanding coach that's coached for a long time. I'm sure he's taking what he's got and, doing the best that he can with it.
Coach, will you talk about what kind of kid James Kirkendall is? I mean, he speaks, but seems to be maybe a little quieter.
Yeah, I think James is reserved by nature. He's not, receivers a lot of times, like defensive backs a lot of time. They're very gregarious and very outgoing, and James is a little more professorial and studies the game, and he's not a real loud guy. He's very passionate, and in fact, I had to get on to him about one time after a catch, I thought he got up and was a little too passionate, but you want them to be close to that line because they're excited about playing. But he's a very quiet guy that goes about his work, and like I said, he had a really good fall camp. He had an outstanding fall camp, and Garrett has a lot of confidence in him, and it was good to see him kind of have a breakout game.
You gave DJ a carry there early. How much are you trying to get him involved in the offense?
We're going to continue to look at different places to put him and different things. As we said last week, he's playing, where Marquise is, and Marquise is also a guy that can make explosive plays. And so, but we're obviously have to continue to try to evaluate and see, if we can get him into the ball game. And obviously you can't just put him in and hand it to him. So we're going to, in fact, we've started this morning early with, discussing some of that.
Coach Brown had mentioned some aspect that the writing was on the wall, that this team would be inconsistent on offense, going in through preseason and then going into these games. But are you seeing the progression that you want to see on offense going into the 4th game of the season with OU and Nebraska?
Well, there's obviously things that we're not very pleased with right now, but we see flashes of things that we're very pleased with. And anytime you've got a couple of new starters, and I think you're going to be inconsistent. It doesn't mean you like it, doesn't mean that you accept it, but experience tells you it's going to happen. And so we just have to tie it together. And as we enter this stretch, we've got conference started now, and step away to play UCLA, and then we get rolling with the meat of the conference schedule. Then obviously we need to pick it up.
Coach, when Coach Brown says, kind of called out his coaches and said they need to do a better job, what kind of role do you take in as a coordinator, kind of making sure that all your coaches are doing what they need?
Well, I think we're all responsible for various aspects, and obviously mine is the offense as a group, and we do have to do a better job. Well, we've got to take we constantly talk to the players about being accountable for the steps that they take and the hats where they put them, and all of that is a reflection to some degree on us. So we've got to do a better job of making sure we're getting that done in practice, and typically when you get it done in practice, it carries over in a ball game.
After looking at the film, what did you see in the tip passes that was kind of going wrong on those first?
Well, I told Mack immediately after the game. He asked me in the dressing room, And usually there's two or three things that happen on tip balls. In many cases,